Internet, my name is Ace, and today we are reviewing Kissing Booth, starring Joey King, Jacob Elordi, Joel Courtney, and directed by Vincent Marcello. Alright, so when I saw the trailer for this film, I wasn't exactly expecting much from it. You know, I've seen a lot of romance films in my time. Some of them were really great, and a lot of them were eh. And when I saw the trailer for this, it kind of felt like a default film in the genre. It didn't look like it really had anything else to offer. It looked kind of basic, and it also looked kind of cheesy. And after seeing To All the Boys I've Loved Before, I wanted to keep a more open mind because, you know, these are both films released by Netflix. So I was like, okay, maybe Kissing Booth is really good. I heard a lot about it on my social media, so I was like, okay, I'll check it out, see if it's good. And I really don't like being right sometimes. Alright, this movie isn't terrible. It's not absolute garbage. It's kind of close though. But it's a decent enough film to watch in one viewing. I wouldn't see you wanting to watch this movie again, really. But it does have some good things. Joey King's performance was really good. Her chemistry with the main guy, with Jacob Elordi, it was good when it had to be, but it wasn't always perfect. There were some times where I was like, this relationship doesn't necessarily feel like it's a good thing for her. I couldn't really find myself rooting for the main love team in this film. I didn't necessarily approve of it. I didn't really believe in their relationship that much. It felt like kind of eh. I wasn't really attracted to their relationship. I wasn't sold on it, but you know, so there are the scenes where they had to convey chemistry together. It was well enough done. That's a plus for this film. That's a plus for this film, definitely. But, you know, I had to really work hard to think of some pluses I had for this movie. What are some things about this film that I really liked? I had to work really hard to try and think of some, and I think that was the only thing about this film that I really had like a positive thing to say about. But all that aside, a lot of the things I was feeling towards this movie, they were all kind of negative, and I feel bad for that, because I felt like they were trying really hard to capture the essence of high school, you know? Like, they were really trying to convey all the different people you were going to meet in high school. There's a group of girls called the OMG girls, and they're kind of like the mean girls, if they were trash. They were really, like, exaggerated versions of the mean girls characters. Like, they were already exaggerations by themselves, but the ones in this movie were like really exaggerated. They were like, oh my god, it's a library. It's like no one really talks like that anymore. The way they talked in this film were like really exaggerated California accents. The only people who talk like that are people who are trying to like emulate how high school is supposed to be. You know, like they don't really understand what high school is like, and this film doesn't really understand what high school is like. There's a nerdy character in this film, and he's like extremely nerdy. The jocks in this film are like extremely mean, and they're like really like bullies, basically. Like dumb jocks. They're not really complex. They're like very surface interpretations of high school, and that was really disappointing because it could be so much better. I don't want to compare this movie too much to All the Boys I've Loved Before, but that movie captured high school pretty well. This movie does not. It felt like a cartoon version of high school. It really did. The opening shots alone of this film, like the introduction, was kind of odd. It was drastically shifting from different tones, like in the span of a narration sequence. It's basically the main character giving exposition about herself, about her life, and the people that she knows. It goes a little bit like this. My name's Elle. I love soccer. This is my best friend Lee. We love dancing. Mom got sent to the hospital today. She's really sick. I don't know if she's gonna recover. I also really like my best friend's brother because he's really hot. Mom's gone. I have to say goodbye to Mom now. Like, it's like that. Like, it's really sudden shifts in tone. It could be really happy and then just extremely sad in the next second, and then really happy again. It was like, why? And that really set the tone for the rest of the film for me. There are times where it wants to have a really emotional moment. Like, you could see they were really building up to these emotional scenes, but it didn't really impact me in that way because it felt like really cheesy. It felt too sudden. It didn't have enough build up to it, and it felt really sudden, and it felt like out of left field. Like, was I supposed to be sad about this? Instead of being sad, I was kind of like, okay, I didn't really feel anything. It was just like, alright, that happened, I guess. And that was basically the entirety of this film. I'm sorry to all the people that like this movie. But yeah, that was basically how I felt about this film. Another thing I didn't particularly like about the romance in this movie, by the way, I'm using the word romance very generously. One thing I didn't like about it was the main guy, played by Jacob Elordi. He's supposed to be this playboy, like jock, and then I know you're supposed to be rooting for their relationship, but you could never really tell if he was genuinely in love with the main girl. A lot of the times where he's trying to be nice or trying to be like kind to her, it didn't really seem genuine because their chemistry doesn't really pick up until the third act. In the first 2 acts of this film, it was just kind of like there. It didn't really seem believable to me. It felt like an older brother, little sister complex. They were bickering with one another and it just didn't work. And it's one of the main reasons why the film just didn't do that well. In its entirety, The Kissing Booth is kind of a shallow movie. It's not really that deep, even though it tries really hard to be. And I felt bad about that because, you know, I was really hoping for this movie to be something, but it wasn't. It was trying really hard to be a good love story, but it felt like a really cheesy, 80s love story. It even has Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald is in this, the queen of 80s love stories. She was in this movie, and it felt like they were trying a bit too hard with this movie to emulate the 80s feel. It was like, it doesn't work anymore. Times have changed. So what would have worked in the 80s doesn't really necessarily work now. People aren't as shallow as they used to be, you know. People are really complex. Not that people in the 80s were shallow, it's just the movies back then were kind of shallow. Don't lie to me. But you know, times have changed. Movies now need to be a bit deeper. And this movie really wasn't. If I had to give this movie a score, it would be a C-. It was kind of average. It didn't stand out that much to me, and it's good to watch one time, but I don't see myself wanting to watch it again in the future. If I'm being honest, watching it really felt like a chore. So that's gonna have to do it for this review. I hope you liked it. If you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you as always for watching. If you have any movie you want me to review, comment down below. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, like it anyway. And as always, remember, never forget to stay nerdy.